God is the tangential point between 0 and infinity. Alfred Jerry. Greetings, mortals, and a capital day to you all. I am your host, Simon, and this is the Library of Gnosis. In alchemy and philosophy, Prima Materia, Materia Prima, or first matter, is the ubiquitous starting material required for the alchemical magnum opus and the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. It is the primitive, formless base of all matter, similar to chaos, the quintessence or aether. Author Edward Bate states that all alchemical writers concealed its true name. Since the Prima Materia has all the qualities and properties of elementary things, the name of all kind of things were assigned to it. A similar account can be found in the Theatrum Sermicium. Quote, "They have compared the Prima Materia to everything, to male and female, to the hermaphroditic monster, to heaven and earth, to body and spirit, chaos, microcosm, and the confused mass. It contains in itself all colors and potentially all metals. There is nothing more wonderful in the world, for it begets itself, conceives itself, and gives birth to itself." End quote. Martin Ruland the Younger lists more than 50 synonyms for the Prima Materia in his 1612 alchemical dictionary. His text includes justifications for the names and comparison. He repeats that, quote, "The philosophers have so greatly admired the creature of God, which is called the primal matter, especially concerning its efficacy and mystery, that they have given to it many names, and almost every possible description, for they have not known how to sufficiently praise it." End quote. Here are some of the names of the Prima Materia listed in Ruland's 1612 alchemical dictionary. Excuse my Latin here. Lexicon Alchemicae Sive Dictionarium Alcestrium. And here are the names: microcosm, water of life, permanent water, poison, medicine, sulfur of nature, the serpent, feels familiar, the dragon, the soul, and heaven of the elements, the matter of all forms, the rainbow, heart of the sun, healer, angel of violet light, Indian gold, and finally, of course, Mercury. The wings of Mercury elevate us to the world of gods. Samuel Aun Vior. Here is the painting of Michael Myers' Atlanta Figurines 1617 alchemical emblem depicting the omnipresence of the philosophical matter. Quote, "The stone that is Mercury is cast upon the earth, exalted on mountains, resides in the air, and is nourished in waters. The cubes represent the Prima Materia." The opening statement I used implies that God is the point of convergence between the potential zero and the actual infinity. This tangential point is where the infinite possibilities of zero intersect with the infinite actualities of infinity. It is a profound philosophical notion that suggests that God is the ultimate source and the culmination of all existence, transcending and encompassing both extremes. Alchemists often used symbolic language to describe the Prima Materia, attributing it to a multitude of names and characteristics, emphasizing its all-encompassing nature. It is both male and female, chaos and order, body and spirit. This duality and multifaceted nature resonates with Jerry's description of God as the intersection of zero, potential, formlessness, and infinity, actualization, and boundlessness. Infinity and zero both express an infinity of something and an infinity of nothingness. It has been argued whether infinity is a number or not, but the consensus is more clear about zero, so I want to focus on that. Now, the Prima Materia, being the primitive formless base of all matter similar to chaos, that sounds similar to the properties of zero. The Prima Materia is hard to pin down, but I will give it an honest try for whatever it's worth. I can think of few numbers that better represents the nature of God better than the number 0. It is and is not at the same time. Like Mercury, it is neutrality. It does not deny anything, yet integrates everything. 0 is not merely nothingness. It is the potential for all other numbers. 0 is there before you even begin counting. One name the Gnostics used for the transcendent God was proarchi, before the beginning. 0 is free will, which is neutral in essence, but because God has free will and gave us free will too, it affords us to make choices. And because choice is a positive state, this neutrality is actually just so slightly positive in essence. The power of 0 is that it is never negative. It never detracts. But put it behind any number and it multiplies it by 10. Such is the immense power of the 0. The number 0 can be regarded as neither positive nor negative, or alternatively, both positive and negative. The ancient Greeks seemed unsure about the status of 0 as a number. Some of them asked themselves, how can not being be? 0 is never present, but at the same time, it's always there. This is the nature of God. We cannot see God, yet at the same time, it is all we ever see, as the Hermetica states. In various religious and esoteric traditions, God, or the divine, is often associated with both emptiness and fullness, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed by God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of the visible. Hebrews 11:13. Is it a coincidence that in esoteric thought the circle is seen as representing spirit or God, and that the figure used to represent 0 is also a circle? El, which is a name for a specific deity in the Canaanite pantheon, is also synonymous for God in Hebrew, from which we get the names of the angels Mikael, Raphael, etc. And is also the origin of the name Israel, because he used to be the original God of Israel. Anyways, he is sometimes called Lutpani, shroud face, cognate with Latif, hidden. Truly, you are God, El, who hides yourself. O God, Elohim of Israel, the Savior. Isaiah 45:15. The Greeks called this God Agnostos Theos, that is, unknown God, according to the book of Acts, contained in the Christian New Testament. When the Apostle Paul visited Athens, he saw an altar with an inscription dedicated to that God. Paul stood in the middle of the Areopagus and said, "You men of Athens, I perceive that you are very religious in all things. For as I passed along and observed the objects of your worship, I found also an altar with the inscription, 'To an unknown God.' What therefore you worship in ignorance, this I announce to you. The God who made the world and all things in it, He, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not dwell in temples made with hands, neither is He served by men's hands, as though He needed anything, seeing He Himself gives to all life and breath and all things. He made from one's blood every nation of men to dwell on all the surface of the earth, having determined appointed seasons and the boundaries of their dwellings, that they should seek the Lord, if perhaps they might reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being. As some of our poets have said, for we are also his offspring. End quote. Acts 17:22. The monad is a monarchy with nothing above it. It is he who exists as God and Father of everything, the invisible one who is above everything, who exists as incorruption, which is in the pure light into which no eye can look. He is the invisible spirit, of whom it is not right to think of him as a god or something similar. For he is more than a god, since there is nothing above him, for no one lords him over. He does not exist in something inferior to him, since everything exists in him. For it is he who established himself. He is eternal, since he does not need anything. For he is total perfection. The Apocryphon of John. I have been writing down some insights I think I've had about the nature and essence of neutrality and how it can be applied to our own thinking. But I will cover this in a later video. If you made it this far, I want to thank you for watching. Please share the video if you found it valuable, and also please check out my Patreon. I will see you in the next one, mortals.